Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
It's a Feedback Friday on a Sunday, but I want to warn the audience that we aren't recording this on Sunday. We're still probably fuming more than we would be if we were to give it 3 days. You know, so our emotions may have calmed by Sunday, but since we're recording this before Sunday, you're going to still get maybe some vitriol from the three of us. We will see here. Before we get into some of the questions and takes that people had about that Thursday night football game against the Rams, Judd, this might be a good weekend to sit on your, if you were proactive with Ugly Deck anyways, you might have a beautiful new fall deck.
Oh, exactly right. And if you weren't, what are you doing? Come on, get with it. Watch, look at these beautiful decks. You're saying, Sports Dad, how do I get a deck like this? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's this simple. It's through our friends, all of our friends at uglydeck.com. They are on a mission to rid the world of all of those ugly decks. Book a free deck estimate this month and get 3 footings included. Just need a deck tweak? That's okay. Get up to $1,000 off installation or a DIY deck package. For the DIYer, Ugly Deck can install your footings and ledger and save you from the mess and frustration and the hardest part of building a deck. If you want the top carpenters and maintenance-free decks to build your entire deck, that's the Sports Dad route. I don't like to touch things. I don't like to get involved because you know what? Let the experts do it. They build year-round, so book a free deck estimate today for a new deck this year. Go to uglydeck.com to book your free estimate. Yeah, this is my God, and this fall so far, for the most part, has been perfect. Like, if you ever want a tutorial on, hey, when could I really use my deck? Fall is the time. Perhaps you got a TV, watching some football. Uglydeck.com, they got your back.
So I'm just, for this, I'm grabbing some stuff this is from the Score North or the Purple Daily YouTube channel comment section, some of the emails through the feedback tab, and then even a couple tweets. And there's just, man, it's probably the most, the biggest sea of feedback immediately after a game that we've had all season so far. But because this episode is a Sunday episode and we've already given a lot of our just immediate reactions to the game, I tried to pull some more bigger picture thematic stuff from the audience. So let's start with this one from Ryan Linderholm. He says, Dallas Turner should be doing what Jared Verse is doing for the Rams. Now, for some background there, Jared Verse, edge rusher, Florida State, right? First round pick by the Rams. 6'4", 260 pounds. I mean, you saw him in the backfield a couple times. As a rookie, he ranks 6th in the entire league among edge rushers in total pressures through 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
He, I believe, is tied among all edge rushers with 10 quarterback hits with Gregory Rousseau. He only has 3 sacks. So people, if you're just looking at the sack numbers, you might think that Patrick Jones is better than Jared Verse. Pressure numbers are a better telltale for how often you are impacting as a pass rusher. So again, Jared Verse, rookie season, 6th in the NFL in pressures, number 1 in the NFL, tied number 1 in quarterback hits. Dallas Turner plays 4 defensive snaps per game. Can't even get in as a backup rotational edge rusher.
Right.
And this wasn't the only comment. I'm just leading with Ryan's comment here as sort of a spearhead for this discussion. Your thoughts?
Dallas Turner has 7 snaps played in the past 2 games, 4 against Detroit, 3 against the Rams. And I understand the fact that he might not be playing as much as a guy like Grenard or Van Ginkel, but I am now very perplexed. What are we doing here? And is this a sign? Look, you know what? The issue is this. The PTSD with Lewis Cine, unfortunately, is very real.
Yeah.
And so I think the question, and it's a fair one, is, okay, is he really not up to speed, which is what I assume, or is he so not up to speed that you're very concerned? So I have a lot of questions here about O'Connell basically was asked about this after Turner had 4 snaps against the Lions and said he's going to be a stud, he's going to be great. But that being said, I am curious why a guy who I thought they'd find a role for, they don't even find a role for. It's not nothing. And yeah, versus the polar opposite because he's having a great year. But just from a Vikings perspective, let's just, bring things in closer to what the Vikings are doing. why is Dallas Turner not playing essentially at all? Like you can't just dismiss that. And by the way, we're not in week 2. You know, we're now in what? We just started week 8. So I
In a
think
game in which you got almost no pressure at
yeah.
all against a bunch, like 40% of that offensive line are rookie,
Oh, and
undrafted, like 6th-round dudes.
you just didn't get what pressure on 3 dropbacks for Stafford. That's ridiculous. He completed all 3 passes. So yes, I think that we have now crossed into the one head scratching what's going on, and 2 the frustration of, you mean to tell me you again are going to get nothing from a first round pick? It is weird.
It feels like on the on the we do pie charts of blame, but on the seesaw of like, is this just Dallas Turner being ineffective, or is this just like a perplexion of why can't you find playing time for him? And in football, I think sometimes we get way too concerned with like, oh, he's just not good. Well, there's definitely a scheme here that Flores like wants to run, but on Thursday Night Football, they literally could not get any pressure here. And Jared Goff carved them up too. And look, Stafford, Goff, 2 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So you have to give some flowers there. But at the end of the day, some self-scouting has to take place of, all right, what else now can we do? Because some things have gotten figured out, and we just traded up a bunch of capital for what was presumed to be the best defensive player in the draft, and he played 4 snaps. How can we figure out ways to get him on the field more?
Yeah, I think it'd be one thing if the argument was just, why isn't he playing ahead of Jonathan Grenard, who's been one of the best edge rushers in the league this year, and Andrew Van Ginkel, who's this incredible jack-of-all-trades player? That's not the argument that I am posing here. The argument I am posing is, why can't he get into the rotation with like Patrick Jones, for instance?
Yeah.
And you might say, well, Patrick Jones has 5 sacks, which is great. I think most of those came in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Sacks don't tell the whole story. Patrick Jones only has 11 pressures on the year. Miraculously, 5 of those pressures are sacks. So I'm trying to think of like a cross-sport comparison. It would be like if you had like 5 home runs and only, 5 or 6 other hits. It's like, well, he's got 5 home runs. He is. He's like Joey Gallo, pretty much.
It's like Joey Gallo's hot April, or like Chris Colabello had a great April.
Yes.
Like then all of a sudden, like you fall off the table. Like it. Yes, that's a very good one.
And to put it into a couple things on that. So like to put it in perspective, let's go with just pass rush win rate, which is ESPN measures it. Pro Football Focus measures it. Aiden Hutchinson, before his injury, had a 38% pass rush win rate, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
The second best player in the league among edge rushers was Myles Garrett at 27%.
Yep.
Jared Verse, 4th at 22%, worth noting. So the best edge rushers in the league are like 20 to 35%. The freaks are like 30 to 38%. Aiden Hutchinson. But then even the league average edge rushers are winning their pass rush reps 10, 12, 14% of the time. So Patrick Jones II, not to pick on him too much here, ranks 103rd out of 118 qualified edge rushers, a 5% pass rush win rate. And he's playing 35 snaps a game as a backup.
Yeah.
And Dallas Turner can't get 5, 10 snaps. It's puzzling. I'm not even saying that they're like incompetently hiding the better player. I guess it's what, to Declan's point. Either he's not ready and there's a reason why he's not playing, or they either whiffed on the draft pick, which it's way too early to say that. He's not ready, which is kind of an indictment. But I know some people might say, well, schematically, like Patrick Jones's job might be on some of these like third down twists. Maybe his job is to open up, hey, I'm going to be the first man on the twist so that Grenard can get his or Van Ginkel can get his. But 95% of Patrick Jones's snaps have come from the outside. So I don't know. The fact that Turner can't even get 10 or 15 snaps here or there on pass rushing situations, replacing the backup, is interesting.
Well, and can you not? The question too is, with all of the rotation that they do, and they do a lot, can you just not find a role flat out for him? It's just it seems odd. It seems odd for a guy who didn't, Seen came out of Georgia and was a heavy hitting safety, and I get that. But I guess I also didn't think that there was this huge buildup behind him. I mean, Dallas Turner was he was a proven college commodity. So yeah, this is taking an odd turn, and I gotta wonder if there's discussions in the building about like we gotta at least give this kid a chance. Like you are doing nothing for his growth right now.
Yeah, and revisionist history because fans love to play it. Like Jared Verse went 2 picks after Dallas Turner, who the Vikings obviously traded up to get. Chop Robinson's playing for the Dolphins. Like that unfortunately is always going to happen, and I don't love being like complete draft analysis guy post of the fact, but if Jared Verse and Chop Robinson can figure out ways to get on the field, like how the hell is Dallas Turner playing 4 snaps? Like it is very perplexing to me.
Chop Robinson's pass rush win rate is 27th among 118 qualified edge rushers at 15%. Again, Patrick Jones, the bar you need to clear to get some playing time is 5%. He literally does not get pressure on the quarterback. So unless you're saying, no, you don't understand, he's great at his role as maybe a linchpin, a bowling ball to clear space for Grenard or Van Ginkel, I will listen to that argument. But Jihad Ward is more that role. Some of the down linemen, the Harrison Phillips, like those guys appear to be playing that role more than Patrick Jones. To me, he's supposed to be getting pressure on quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that's the bar for Dallas Turner to clear.
But I think the message is they trust Patrick Jones to do what they want schematically, and they don't trust Turner, and that within itself is a problematic statement.
Yeah, doesn't mean he's a bust, but I think it's worth pointing out as they've lost 2 games in a row and their pressures have been non-existent.
I thought last night though, like last night, if you trust the kid at all, because to your point, you were getting no pressure, which is very odd. So, like, last night was the time to say, hey, you know what? This kid can play. Let's mix things up, right?
You mean 3 nights ago.
Oh,
that's what you mean.
Yeah, you mean
3 nights ago. Well, you fessed up to the Friday taping.
Thursday night.
What do you mean?
Yeah, Thursday night football.
Thursday
night football, which I am still on a mission to abolish. I am on a mission to abolish Thursday night games.
So okay, on that, this is kind of a continued therapy session here. So David Graves, 1876 on the Purple Daily YouTube channel says, we can talk about what changes are needed for this year's team, but there will be an underlining issue going forward. We can't draft. 3 draft classes in, and the only starting non-special teams players are Jordan Addison and Ed Ingram, and Ed Ingram is one of the worst guards in the league. 1 undrafted free agent guy, Ivan Pace, and a couple low-end rotation guys in Jalen Naylor and Ty Chandler ain't good. We need to start getting production from the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely true. Like that's the other thing about the Turner thing that bothers me. Like the McCarthy thing, I still have a ton of faith in. But right now, you have 2 first-round picks, and first round. It's certainly not odd, as you just discussed, for first-round picks to step in and help immediately. And right now, you have 2 first-round picks from this past spring who are doing nothing for you. Well, we all thought that Turner would be. I hate to say it, but the 2022 draft is actually getting worse now.
Yeah, it was like trending up for a little bit.
Yeah,
like, oh, look at
Ingram might be benched, and Ty Chandler, as we discussed 3 nights ago after the Thursday night game on Ventline, Ty Chandler.
Just give us our weekend, damn
it. Yeah. Give me back my weekend. Give me back my red zone. Ty Chandler looks like he's just sort of been like, okay, this isn't working.
It's a jag.
Well, he might not even be a jag, though. Like, he got in. So the only series, and I'm sure he got more snaps than this, but I charted this one. He got in so the Vikings took a 14-7 lead. He got in for the 3rd series, and they literally did nothing, and then that was it, and it was a disaster. So anyway, yeah, I can't debate this. Like it's definitely concerning.
Yeah, it is. It is, and the Ed Ingram thing too. It's like, I guess I haven't looked at the. Let me pull up the old. Did they have to put these back into? No, the grades are available.
Hibernation.
How'd our guy Eddie do 3 nights ago? Let's check it out here.
That was a loss. It's so long ago, I don't remember the game anymore.
Actually, it was Blake Brandel gave up. He was sort of the leaky. Yeah, Ingram gave up a couple of pressures. It wasn't his worst game. He gave up a sack, but it wasn't his worst game as a pass protector. But yeah, like you basically have 1 bona fide starter in Jordan Addison in those 3 draft classes, and then a guy that's like playing for his job every week now that Dalton Reisner is coming back.
Yep.
So Okay, Tim Peters 9965 on YouTube. The Vikings are a fake 5-2 team. They are closer to an 0-7 team than they are to 5-2. Lose to that garbage team. Shake my head. Garbage. And now they are out of a top 5 pick because they've won too many games. And then Chris Shed 773 on YouTube says the Vikes are about to go on an 8-game slide. The next 7 are going. Well, that would be a 9-game slide if the next 7 are 0-7. Either way, he does not spot a win in the next couple of months here.
Well, I'm not going there because I don't think you're cooked, and you certainly play teams that you can beat. Yeah, I understand the frustration. I understand the frustration, but they're not going to lose. Like, if they lose 9 consecutive games, I will be blown away.
Will you eat your sock?
I don't
eat your shorts.
I don't want to eat my shorts.
Mr. Sacco.
I might eat a sock.
Both.
Like if I could stick it in soup.
What?
Cut it up. You said, would you eat your sock? I said I might if I like a good bowl of soup. Just get that.
You know what's funny?
I would
like
cut it up into small.
I mean,
pieces.
I was being facetious, and then you made it literal. Like you're gonna slice
I could see
up
myself
your
doing that.
sock. What kind
you
of soup?
gotta slice
What
the
kind of
sock up,
soup?
of course. Oh, it would have to be a heavier soup so that it
Like a chowder?
It masked chowder.
Like a split pea
You
with
know what?
ham and sock.
Okay. What my only regret about my lactose problems
Here we go.
our chowder is not an option. I love a good chowder. Like, I'm not a milk fan. Cottage cheese, okay, it's fine, but but yeah, exactly. A good clam chowder, fantastic, and I cannot eat clam chowder or else
It's so good.
I'm done.
Do you ever eat it?
I am done.
If you know that you're like, maybe you got a hotel room nearby or
Phil,
something.
No, Phil, I'm not like you. Phil just throws caution in the wind. I got a really bad stomach.
I mean, I had Chipotle last night, and let's just say right before showtime, I said, wait, hold on. Got to go to the bathroom.
Okay, but the problem with the lactose thing is it's continual. That's the problem with lactose. Like, if I have a bowl of chowder.
What do you mean continual? Like over multiple days?
Hours. The rest of the day is ruined.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So, because if it was just what Deck said, yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's it's funny because certain types of straight up milk, if I had a bowl of cereal with some 2% milk or some skim milk, yeah, it's going to be a problem for 12 hours. Cheese?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've got the same.
awful.
Yep. In fact, we've got the same thing then because now I can't house a ton of cheese, but if it's
God, that
here,
sounds terrible.
here's what I found: if the lactose item is in solid form, and I don't abuse it, I've got a fighting chance.
I'm with you.
But-
It's liquid form. Yes.
Yeah, I'm done.
For sure, dude.
Which is why chowder gets me.
You poor souls.
Good Well, it does. I mean, it's not the worst thing. There's worse things, but it does sort of suck at times.
Back to these panicked
Anywho.
comments real quick here. So I know that these are overreactions. People are emotional. The Vikings haven't won a game in a month now, but to say that they are closer to 0-7 than 5-2, I just want to remind people that going into Sunday's games, despite having 2 losses in back-to-back weeks, the Vikings still have the 5th best point differential in the league. They have win. It's not like if it was like the Seahawks where they started 3-0 and now the wheels are coming off, but you go back and look and we beat the Patriots and we beat I don't know, the Titans or somebody. The wins are against the Texans, the Packers at Lambeau, a Niners team before some of the key injuries. I mean, the Niners had everyone on the field except for McCaffrey, and McCaffrey's backup carved the Vikings, and the Vikings still won that game. So I would lean toward more panic here and, oh no, is this the 2016 team if their 5 wins were against bad teams? But they have, I found a couple of these strength of schedule websites that run the schedule through various analytics, and consensus, the Vikings to this point have played one of the 3 to 5 hardest schedules in the NFL, and they came out of it 5-2. And yes, there's things to nitpick and there's things to hate and the pre-snap penalties and all this stuff, but this is not a team that was just faking its way to those 5 wins. That is a vast overreaction.
This will be a really good fact-finding mission on O'Connell and his staff now, because what's happened is, and this is what happens, teams have figured things out. And guys, Darnold statistically actually had a good game. I would argue that the eye test didn't exactly paint the same picture, but teams figure you out and exploit you, expose you. And then once that happens, the question is, what do you do about it? And if you do something about it, this becomes a blip. If you can't correct it, this becomes a real problem. So like that's the thing, because the defense certainly gave up some significant plays in those first five wins, or yards at times. The second half at Green Bay, they allowed 22 points in the fourth quarter, but they won those games. And two, when you win, you sort of say, oh, okay, that's not good, but, right? But you won. So the real question now is, can you fix what teams are attacking? And if you can, it's a blip. If you can't, you got problems.
And they get the luxury of a pseudo bye week shortly after they had their actual bye week. So like once they get through this 10-day period, okay, you've had enough time in the last 3 weeks to run everything through a filter. You should be able to make some tweaks. The pre-snap penalty stuff, that's the first thing to fix. You should not be taking 7 pre-snap penalties or whatever it was.
I think defensively what you're seeing is, and one, yes, Cashman being back will help. I still don't think he's Dick Butkus, but it's going to help. But I think to circle back to our Dallas Turner conversation, the question is there a package that you can put him in, for instance, that teams have not seen?
Or maybe a package that you yourself have not seen because he can't find the field.
Right,
in any
exactly.
circumstance.
But those are the type of things. Those are the adjustments. This is no different than Edward Julian in baseball, right?
Yeah.
They adjust. Can you adjust? And if you can, you're fine. And if you can't, you are, unfortunately, Julian 2024.
I would say by week 9, if you're Kevin O'Connell, if maybe Flores has a little, Chris Finch, Tom Thibodeau on the basketball side to him, where I trust my vets. I trust my vets to run my system. It's kind of complicated, But we're in week 9 now. If I'm Kevin O'Connell, I'm certainly not going to take over your defensive meetings. You have a job to do, and you are largely great at it. But I'm going to make one, not recommendation, something stronger than that. Find a way to put Dallas Turner on the field 8 to 10 times per game.
Which is insane. Yeah.
Right. And if the comeback to that is KO, it's B-Flow here. He can't play. I can't trust him even for 8 to 10 plays. Then we all turn our eyes to Kwesi and the scouting staff and say, okay, not a bust yet, because a guy deserves year 2, year 3. But just 2 more here quickly on this Feedback Friday on a Sunday, presented by Nicolay Law also. Should shout them out. The exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Nicolay Law is here, rooted in the Twin Cities communities that we all live in. They're just your normal everyday folks, sometimes with flannel shirts and beards, that happen to have law degrees to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. You can start your path to winning at nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. Let's go to Zach Block. He says, I will never fault a team for playing it safe when it comes to injuries, but TJ Hawkinson should have played on Thursday night. Puka Nacua only had 1 limited practice this week. He had 7 catches for $106. Looked healthy to me. I know everyone said Hawkinson only had limited practices all week, so he can't play until he logs a full practice. All I say is, you sure about that?
Booey.
Now, Hawkinson was coming back from an exploding knee, essentially.
I got nothing on this one. Yeah. But
this is kind of this is a medical decision.
Are we really like in this case? And unless you guys could correct me, because there have been medical staffs in town, Twins, who are easy to question at times. But unless I'm missing something, have the Vikings ever made a grave mistake either way on a medical? We're like, well, they don't know what they're doing. He's coming back off 2 torn ligaments in a knee, and they're taking
10 months ago too.
And they're taking the maximum time to bring him back. Ordinarily, I love to question things and feel it's my place to for Sports Dad to get in on the medicals and stuff. But in this, I can't do it. I'm not going to fault someone.
Yeah, I think like emotionally as a fan, would you see Nakua out there? Cooper Kupp and Nakua came back. You can't throw TJ Hawkinson out there. What's the difference between now and 10 days from now? But at the end of the day, I mean, the Vikings know it better than we do. They have all of the information. We do not. They have all of the data and the science. We do not.
The parallel, or I guess the comparison, different injury, but same caution. Justin Jefferson hamstring last year. He was kept out for a long time. But again, on that one, it's like, okay, if he comes back and it's a problem again, it's a problem for longer now.
Yeah.
I would rather get Hawkinson back, and once he's back, he stays back. Just like with Jefferson.
Yeah, so he'll be back against the Colts. And then Lane Beauvais says on that face mask play, which, man, the more you see that, and then you see there's two officials staring right at it.
And the official's like, yeah, we both were blocked. Yeah, we couldn't see it. Yeah, it was very bizarre. I agree completely.
But Lane's question is, he said, my wife brought this up. Isn't that play able to be reviewed because it was a scoring play?
Safeties don't quantify it.
There you go.
They don't.
Rules official. Let's go to our rules official.
It's stupid, but
so they also they do have like kind of they have an eye in the sky official that's it's kind of ambiguous as to when they can jump in. But I heard this on Get Up this week with Greeny.
Correct.
That if a flag is thrown, the official can essentially say, hey, actually, you should pick that flag up because this, that, the other. But if a flag isn't thrown, they can't interject and say that one should have been thrown.
Right.
But this could be the type of play on national TV between two high-profile teams where they make a tweak and say, if a dude's head gets ripped around 180 degrees to decide a game, let's not hang the officials out to dry while all of America and everyone on the sidelines knows what the call is within 5 seconds.
But you bring up a good point. How do two guys miss that? And by the way, you've got more officials on the field. Like nobody, like there have been, the back judge has thrown flags on things he probably shouldn't just because they love to throw flags. And in this case, you're telling me that I was blocked.
You can spot a guard twitching his shoulder for a false start.
This is my question.
But you can't see Sam Darnold's eyes staring at you while you read his name on the back of his jersey?
Right. So
it's weird, man.
What was really weird, too, is okay, Byron Murphy Jr. grabbed that on the defensive holding call that kept the Rams on the field for, I think, the 14-14 tying touchdown. He grabbed the dude's shirt and impeded him a bit. Instant flag. Sort of ticky-tack. Instant flag. Okay, you're going to throw all the flags.
Yeah.
But then when Darnold's head spins around, you're like, oh, I just missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah. It's I mean, these are great points, and it is a scoring play. So maybe they should put safeties in there. What's the difference between it's a scoring play and do your job?
Do your job.
So thank you guys for sending in. And I wish we could get to the 5,000 other angry comments here. We will be discussing this every day going forward here until they play the Colts. So we've got you covered here. But yeah, Feedback Friday on a Sunday. Definitely not recorded on a Sunday, but thanks for hanging out with
3 days,
Purple Daily.
4 days, 5 days ago.
Stay away from cheese.
We actually recorded this in week 3.